maybe somebody's listening to this and they're like, well, no, I am the typical artist, and actually, there's no such thing. I just catch myself on that one, but I am an artist through and through, and I'm creative. I'm kind of flaky, head in the clouds, and all of that. And I think everybody that's creative has that tendency for the most part. But I think if that's you, and there's nothing wrong with that, if that's kind of the direction that you're going in, that's your personality, cool, rock that. But I think that there are other aspects to that business that if you have the opportunity to, you could team up with somebody else. Maybe there's a great word, it's delegation. If you're able to take those tasks that maybe aren't your strong suit, but are the strong suit of somebody else, maybe if that's their wheelhouse, hand those tasks over to them. And maybe you can work something out where you enter into that partnership. It could even be some of your other artist buddies. It's like, hey, you know what? Michael's great with numbers. Sally's fantastic at organizing events. We could put this together. Maybe we can have a group collaborative effort here. And maybe we can all wear the hats amongst us. I'm great at coming up with the visions and the grand idea and then getting to work in my studio, and you find that maybe you could do that. And I came across this. This was put so well in a book by Michael Gerber called The E-Myth. And he talks about the way that most businesses start. And there's a shocking statistic out there about most small businesses failing within the first year. It's something like, if I remember the statistic, pull up the statistics anyway, but I think it's well over 50%. Most are gone within. Yeah, most are gone within the first 5 years. Only less than 10% make it past that first decade. Less than 10%. So to run a business actually requires a lot. And it's not just artists that struggle with this. Everybody struggles with this. So Michael Gerber talks about there's 3 basic personality types that you have in any kind of business venture. You have the technician, the entrepreneur, and the manager. Now, Tony Robbins has got a very similar kind of formula. He's got the artist, which is probably really appropriate for us, the entrepreneur, and the manager. What ends up happening, and if you listen to Michael's book or you read it, is the technician has what's called an entrepreneurial seizure. And then they spend the rest of the time mismanaging the business, and then it ends up in the can at the end of that. And they end up having to go and get another job to pay down that line of credit that they borrowed to start this thing in the first place. So what needs to happen is we need a level of awareness about what our strengths and weaknesses are. We've either got to skill up in those areas that are lacking or team up with other people that can help us in those areas. Now, I'm blessed. I married the right woman. She's got a head for numbers and she's great at organizing finances. Don't ask me to look at numbers, charts, and figures. Like we've hired a digital marketing agency. They run some of our social media ads. I'm looking at the readout and I'm like, guys, explain this to me. You're going to have to tell me because I can't math. I won't do it. I can't do it. I look at it. I'm just like, okay, explain what this is. They're like, this month we did great. I'm like, great. See you next month kind of thing. I just need somebody to really dumb it down for me because that's just not my jam. You want to talk about painting, man, I'll talk your ear off. You want to talk about maybe a new business idea or something like that. I'm all about it. So I seem to straddle that territory between the technician entrepreneur. In terms of the manager, I can manage myself pretty well. I got that discipline down. I can set a schedule and I can stick to it. I can structure my time. I'm focused. That's the other thing that was really important for me is finding that deep work focus flow state and staying there. I'm also good at getting myself to do things I don't want to do. I do it anyway. So there's a few things and these weren't necessarily always with me. They weren't skills that I always had, but I've had to develop them. And now I can summon them pretty much at will. But a big thing I will say was finding the right help when I needed it. Now, if you're an artist and you want to do that moody, broody kind of artist thing and just kind of chill out in your studio, fine, that's great. Anybody listening to that, if that's their headspace, that's great. Maybe the model that's best for some of those artists is maybe the gallery model would be great because they got the business and they're running it. And they can represent you. So now it's going to be up to you to do your artist thing, create your best work, and present a really slick body of work of the highest quality you can muster to that gallery. if you want to go for that model. Otherwise, if you want to run this thing yourself, I would recommend teaming up with some others who would share in that vision, but maybe come with a different skill set. I know this right now. Don't get in the trap of thinking you need somebody else like you. If I found somebody else to work in this business that was just like me, I would have gone bust long ago. Like this would not work. I need people who aren't like me, who have unique skills and talents and abilities and are much smarter than me and much more capable than me in other areas. I'm not going to ask them to paint pictures, and they're not going to ask me to run the numbers. So it's important that we have that. I just want to throw in one more thing here because I think it's been particularly important for me. We all have a different relationship with this. I understand. When I was training really hard this year, and I will get back to it soon, again, with some of those health challenges, I haven't been able to train for the last few months. But when I was training really hard, that actually helped me develop that discipline to be able to do that. So if I didn't feel like it, well, guess what? We're doing it anyway. So I'd show up every day and I'd get my workout. I used to train in the evenings, but I then realized that I had more energy and I was set up for the day and I was in a better state of mind if I did it first thing in the morning. So I would do that really early, get that workout out of the way. My body's full of those endorphins. But the thing, it was such an important physical metaphor. It's like, okay, I can see the deadlift bar has got that sitting on it. I've got to lift that thing. I've got to lift it 10 times and we got to do it for 5 sets or whatever I was doing that day. And then after that workout, I'd be like, that was really hard. That sucked. If I can do that, what else can I do? More importantly, if I can get myself to do that thing, that unpleasant thing, then writing that email is not so hard. Creating this newsletter is not so hard. Sitting in this meeting and trying to find a new strategy for whatever, when I'd much rather be painting, that's not that difficult because I did that. That was really unpleasant. That hurt, try and do it properly with training and supervision. That's fine. But, it's physically unpleasant to put yourself through those paces. But here's the thing. The more you do that, you physically get stronger and more capable. But the more you exercise that discipline, just like a muscle, you're capable of more as a result of doing that. And I don't think, everybody throws discipline out like it's just this little throwaway line. Oh, it takes discipline. Yeah, but what is that? What does that actually look like? And I think it's important for us artists to be able to, whether we feel like it or not, get ourselves in that position where we can sit down and just do the work, just get it done, whether it's art or something for our business. So for me, the exercise has been quite beneficial and as a way of being able to tap into other areas of my life and channel that quality. So just something else I want to throw in the mix there.